Huh?
Keeps falling.
Yeah,
He's using a walker now.
I heard that.
We could call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, we never have feedback.
Feedback.
I wonder where that came from.
Sherry has a substitute today.
Yes, that's me.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Until
And,
now.
Well, thank you for that notice.
So, roll call,
Yeah,
please.
Barr.
Here.
Giovannini.
Here.
Eckhoff.
Here.
Callis. Lee. Causer.
Here.
Bradshaw. Cranford.
Here.
Howard.
Here.
Willie.
Here.
Thank you. Up first on our agenda, we have a proclamation. Hope for the Day, National Suicide and Prevention Action Month. Whereas September being recognized as Suicide Awareness Month, the National Suicide Prevention and Action Month proclamation was created to raise the visibility of mental health and the proactive suicide prevention resources in our community. We also want to start the conversation designated and help connect people with the appropriate support services. Whereas according to the American Federation for Suicide Prevention, more than 49,000 people die by suicide annually in the United States. Whereas according to Hope for the Day, with an average of 132 suicides completed daily, with each one directly impacting 100 additional people, including friends, service members, family, social media connections, neighbors, we can safely assure everyone has been impacted by suicide. Whereas the city of Pontiac publicly places its full support behind those who work in the field of mental health, education, and law enforcement. Whereas global organizations like Hope for the Day and our local mental health partner, Livingston County Mental Health Board, serve on the front lines of a war that many refuse to discuss due to the stigma of the issue. Whereas we encourage all residents to take time to understand mental health through education and recognize that we need to take care of our mental health while we take care of each other. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, William L. Alvey, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2024 as National Suicide Prevention and Action Month in the city of Pontiac. Hope for the Day, National Suicide Prevention and Action Month. Proclaim this day, the 19th of August, 2024. And we all have been impacted by suicides over the years, and I think it's a good thing to work that way. So, with that being done, we'll move into the meeting. We have the consent agenda with several items. If we've had a chance to preview those.
I motion acceptance of the consent agenda.
I second.
Motion by Kelly, seconded by Barr. Roll call, please.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovannini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Causer,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Thank you. I should have mentioned after the roll call, we're missing a couple. Bill Callis is missing because he's having a procedure done up in Chicago today. And it's something he's had done before, and hopefully it will improve his situation. So he said, keep me informed of what's going on. So, on the regular agenda, item A, Main Street Program Recap. I see Misty is heading to the podium as we speak. So, Misty, please update us.
How are y'all? I haven't been here for a while, so it's good to see you. I made it a year. That's a really good thing. So I'm here to tell you all about it. Yeah, whole year. Woo! I'm going to try to go through this really quickly. Just note that if you have extra questions on anything I have to talk about, I am always available to sit down with any of y'all and have a chit chat, that sort of thing. We started last year with the Winterfest Tree Initiative kicked off. It was great. I think everyone was really happy with it. We had 50 trees. One of the first big events for our Main Street was hosting the Illinois Main Street Conference in November. It was actually held 60 days post my hiring date, so it was like hit the ground running, and it was really well attended, and everyone just fell in love with Pontiac as we knew they would. We did a retail meeting in January, and it was very large, had a large attendance, not only of our retail owners, but we had a good showing of city officials there as well. We filled one of the rooms at Bob and Ringo's and was very happy with that. We did a farmers market kickoff meeting. We filled the Eagle, and that resulted in 25 plus vendor signups. We really threw our net out wide to bring in as many farms as possible. We adjusted our hours to be consistently 8 to noon for the entire season, allowing other people that had drive time to get here. During Swinging Bridges, we expanded one block over and had a showcase of some of the farmers market vendors, and we did chalk art on our side, which seemed to go over really well. We've had some chalk artists that keep asking to come back and do that as well. In those first few months, I did go to Rotary, Kiwanis, and Historical Society. I'm actually going back to Kiwanis on August 28th. I've been to Rotary a couple times. Every time they ask, I always say yes. I'm ready to talk. I could talk for hours, so definitely go to those. I set the program up with a little different spin. Committees. No one wants to join a committee, so we turned our 4-point approach into panel meetings. If you're familiar, they're the design, promotion, organization, and economic vitality. They meet every month, and then we went to a huddle structure, and we rotate those huddles throughout our downtown locations. Really wanted to push that each business might be working individually, but the business next to them is their co-workers. They're all kind of in the same boat, trying to make things work downtown. And so it was really nice to take people into each other's businesses, because some of them had said, hey, I have never been in that business. So we kind of drew them in. The Pontiac Art Center has done it twice. Photos by Amanda Rose twice. We went to Cup and Scone. We went to Pop's Pop-Up. They're now our annual holiday huddle every December. It's really always beautiful in there, so that's really nice that we have them on as an annual stop. We've done one at the Eagle with Trajectory Energy hosting. Pontiac Chamber hosted, the 202 Guest House hosted, and you have a sheet of our next huddle, which is Wednesday, and that is Route 66 Kites. We're going to do an exciting huddle next month. It'll be September 18th. Our huddles are always the third Wednesday of the month, and we're going to hold that in Centennial Plaza, and the design panel and the city of Pontiac is going to host that, and we're going to kind of roll out what's going to happen in Centennial Plaza and different changes that are going to be made. We will invite the press, of course, for this one, and we're going to invite Bob Waldmeier's brother Buzz to town and see if he wants to come, since the bus is back there, and I think anything that has to do with that, we try to include him, so he'll be there. It has taken a good solid 11 months to where I feel very comfortable with our panels, and we really held this great week at Lola's last month, and it really was just to sucker people in, because when they showed up for information on that panel, I was like, guess what? You are now that committee, and we were able to get them all on there, and then we got some great chairs. So I do have Anna here. She is going to chair our organization committee, so she is here. We have Donna Cummins, who's going to chair the economic vitality. It's her birthday. I wouldn't want to be here either, so that's probably why she's not here. I am the chair of the design panel, and then Ashley Westbrooks, who owns the Pontiac Barbershop and Boutique, she is our promotions chair. She's moving her daughter to college today, so she is not here. Those chairs all sit on our advisory board, and included on that as well is Mr. Bob Carls. Could not have done this whole year without him, I have to say that for sure. Scott Cranford sits on that advisory panel. And for the first year, we did have Julie Moore, who was a great advocate for us, and we love having her, and she has done some great things with different events. And we'll continue in that manner, but just note she has stepped off after her 1 year, so we do have one opening. So if you know anyone that wants to join the fun, please send them my way. We expanded one of our cruise nights this year. It was the Taste of Pontiac and all things local. We will repeat this next year in June, and then we will expand one more weekend next year, and that will be the August one. So by the time 2026 rolls around, we'll have expanded June, July, and August, each with a consistent theme and a consistent time frame. Kind of looking at like a good old-fashioned fall festival for August next year, but that's not set in stone. So we've done some pilot programming in Centennial Plaza with some sip-in shops. We made some changes each time. We have one more left. That'll be on August 27th from 5 to 8. Some things did really well. Some things did not do really well. Weather was a conflict. School starting was a conflict. It's a learning curve. After it's done, we've done 4 of them. We'll do a good feedback and see if that will continue for next year. The end of the year is going to include our Winterfest trees. I'm shooting for 125 this year. I am pretty confident we will have that. I have 12 Days of Christmas that we're going to do, our pop-up scavenger hunt promotion. We're looking at some sponsored and hosted hunts. We're looking at making some changes to that. The light parade will have a few changes. If you notice in our newsletter that we have some themes thrown out so you can vote on the theme. We're going to do a grand marshal, so we're going to announce floats this year and really make it worth their while to be participating. After last year, everyone was like, oh my gosh, the Humane Society was here. And I was like, nope, that was Walmart, but they brought dogs. I figured we really need to announce who's doing these floats. So they get all the recognition. Small Business Saturday, we have that coming up. Anna has been just a go-getter, and I love this. And what she's come to me several times with, I would really like to do this. I think we can do this. This would be nice to do this. And I told her, if that's what you want to do, you have to change that to say, I'm going to do this. And she's going to do a lot of things under Main Street. And I say that because it's really daunting for someone to take on such huge tasks, huge things as a single person, and then 6 years down the road, they just don't have any more oomph to give. If we plan all these things under our program, it's great, they will sustain. When someone gets worn out, there's help that's gonna be there to help maintain it. So look for a lot of new fundraisers coming. Jingle Jog is going to be a 5K during our 12 days of Christmas. We will fit that in. And she is going to rebirth what everyone knew as last night, but first night. Obviously, I was not here for that. First night, but that's now a trademark. So last night will kick off December 31st of 2025 as an annual New Year's Eve event. And this one will be extra special because it will be a kickoff to get that all going, but it'll also kickstart our 100-year anniversary of Route 66 and the Pontiac car. So she has trivia nights, and just, she's got so many ideas. It's wonderful. Every day, it's not surprising to see a Google Doc get sent to my email that Anna is organized and prepared and ready and excited, and her excitement is infectious, and I hope everyone gets to read all about these things and gets just right on board. So January and February are kind of slow months as we kind of regroup from the holidays, but we will again have our retail meeting this year and include a morning strategic planning session. Anyone that wants to get on board with that, we'll have plenty of information. St. Patrick's Day events are coming, Swinging Bridges again, Centennial Plaza programming, and not that it's our event per se, but July 5th, 2025, Independence Day celebration as well. On the personal side of things for this job, I love it most days. It's great. Working here has been great. It has instilled Pontiac pride in me, and I'm not even from Pontiac, but I could talk about it for hours, and you could ask the front desk ladies, because if Liz isn't here and someone comes in and wants to know all about Pontiac, they're like, Misty, get up there. You sell this really well. So I love to talk about it. I have the Illinois Main Street Conference coming up in November in Batavia. We had a new director come on board, Eric Reeder. He's from the Pekin area. He's great. We toured him around. He seems wonderful and lovely to work with. And I attended the Main Street America Conference in Birmingham, which I loved. And my pride and joy thing that I think has really helped our program is my newsletter. If you're getting it through email, I hope you all are. If you're not, my apologies, but we need to get you on there. We're hitting about 9,000 hits every 28 days on our Facebook pages, and so I think that's pretty stellar considering our population, and I don't even think we have 2,000 followers on that page, so. Okay, any questions?
Take a breath.
I know. That is my year.
Well, congratulations on your first year.
Thanks.
And I would echo Kelly's sentiment. I was waiting for you to collapse.
Right.
No, Jim was like 10 minutes. And Jim and I have done well. I've only had, I think we've yelled at each other maybe 4 times in the entire year. So that is pretty good. I'm a really strong-willed woman, and when I want stuff, he knows when I come to the door, I want money or an answer of yes, and sometimes he can't say yes, and I whine and want to know why. But we do really well, and Liz has been great. Everyone's been great. And I think coming to Pontiac was as good for y'all as it was for me. So.
Thank you, Misty.
Oh, thank you, Misty.
Thank you. We appreciate your efforts.
All right.
For sure.
And can we give a round of applause? These are my people that came for tonight because they all have a vested interest in it. So I wouldn't know what to do without all of them.
Congratulations. Okay. We'll take a few minute break here so Misty can catch her breath. Moving on, Independence Day celebration.
So she covered that. That is,
Kind of, yeah.
yep, July the 5th next year. Yep.
July the 5th, okay. Freshman's reunion and parade information. Deb, you want to talk on that? Please?
Yes. I can't really talk about the reunion because it's not mine, but the parade is going wonderful like every year. We have about 163 units going down the street. It'll be a great event this year, like always. South Shore Drill Team is back. Pontiac High School Band will be there. And a lot of usuals. We have a lot of new people this year. The theme they voted on was Grandview USA 40 years. And ironically, we don't have one float for Grandview USA, but it is what it is. So we're pretty excited. We have 3 grand marshals this year. And, 2 of them serve the Pontiac Fire Department, and the other one is a veteran who's 105 years old. So we have a great lineup this year. So come on out and watch us.
Thank you. And that kicks off August 29th.
September 1st.
September 1st is the parade.
Well, the reunion
Yeah, right.
kicks off the 29th.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yep.
And again, the facilities out there have been improving every year. Okay, now we get into the city business. Ordinance 2024-0023, home rule 1% municipal tax.
Probably looks familiar.
Yes.
This is the reboot of that 1% sales tax that was passed back in late June. At that time, the governor had not signed that bill. That has since happened, and so we are reintroducing ordinance 2024-0023, which is a 1% municipal sales tax, which is a retailer's occupation tax and a service occupation tax. So that will, just as a reminder, that will change the sales tax rate for general merchandise within the city to 8.25%. Currently, 6.25% is the state sales tax. There's a 1% county schools tax that was passed by a referendum a number of years ago. And this will make it, the additional 1% will make it 8.25%. The only place in the city that will be different will be Vermillion Plaza, which already has a business district occupation and sales tax, a retailer's occupation tax, and a service occupation tax. So that will be 9.25% in Vermillion Plaza only. And so those addresses are listed with the Illinois Department of Revenue. It is the actual stores within Vermillion Plaza, and it would also have included the Pizza Hut building if that were a store. So,
Yeah. Any questions? We've gone over this a few times.
And it goes into effect what date?
January.
so we, as long as we get this turned into the Department of Revenue by October, this will go into effect January 1, 2025. January 1, 2025 is the earliest that it can go into effect by the statute. If not, then it would go, the next date is April, and it would go into effect in July. So there's no reason why this wouldn't be at DOR, the Department of Revenue, by October.
Already had our first one.
Yes, they had, and they responded.
Yes, quickly.
Yes.
I would motion acceptance of ordinance 2024-0023.
Second.
Several seconds. Motion by Kelly, seconded by Jerry. Roll call, please.
Giovannini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Causer,
Yes.
Cranford,
No.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Housing study update.
That's me.
Kelly?
As you all know, we started the process several months ago about exploring a community housing update using the services of the Illinois Housing Development Authority. So we had a couple of, the mayor had called together a group of individuals, and we talked a little bit, and then we had a webinar with, or a web meeting with Amy Bashidi from the Illinois Housing Development Authority, and got the process information about what we would do. And so she sent us the scope of work for a partnership that they would do with us and a projected timeline. And so then After that, the mayor asked Scott and myself to take the lead on this process, which we, I believe, voted on participating in about a month ago. And so, and Mike was on the original meeting group that we had as well. So behind the scenes over the last few weeks, Scott and I have gotten together, Scott and Mike have gotten together because we can't openly meet. The three of us can't meet because we don't have a committee. Our first request is that we form a special housing committee of the city council, that the three of us be on, and perhaps bring Greg Knowles in as well. And we would like to plan regularly monthly meetings that we come up with in the first week of the month for this particular group, so that we can meet and talk about things together, instead of, you know, us two meeting, then we're trying to update him, and then, because in the process of determining what we would do with the assessment, we've kind of started some balls rolling of some things that we can start on perhaps on the outside of the revitalization assessment. Scott has agreed to be the scope of work is that we choose a partner lead for the city of Pontiac. So Scott has agreed to be the partner lead, and then we're to find 1 to 3 community ambassadors. Those individuals need to reside within the boundaries of what we are assessing, which is the city of Pontiac. So we kind of spitballed some names of individuals that we thought might be the leads, and Lisa Martin of Pano Realty has agreed to be the community ambassador for this. And then we'll obviously be involving many volunteers through the process of collecting data as we move forward with IDA. So we would like to complete the scope of work document with Amy using those names, and then get that, you know, sent off. We haven't revealed any of that information to her until tonight's meeting. But the timeline they have is that after we get the agreement in place, we would have an initial project meeting in person with the group within 1 month of the start, so approximately October 1st. And then we'll have virtual meetings throughout the process after we determine we have to organize volunteers and start doing the assessment process. But the goal is to have everything back by July 1st of next year in a perfect world, if we can go through all this data, or, you know, all the assessment process. But we're thinking, I mean, our thoughts are that we formed the special committee of council people so that we can call the meetings correctly, and public could be involved. And then the IDA group will work underneath this while we have. I mean, we've had some conversations with Adam Dance about some other stuff, and actually, ironically, the Illinois Main Street program is having a conference in a few weeks that Greg and Misty are going to go to about housing downtown, which is one of the things that will become part of this. So with everybody's blessing or approval, I mean, that's kind of how we would like to move forward with if I'm catching everything right, Mike and Scott, chime in with more, you know. Can we just create a special committee?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, there's no problem there.
Yeah, and I mean, if we can establish a regular schedule for what we're doing, that would keep everybody in tune, you know, and then it just helps. And maybe we won't have need for any meeting, but we can call it off after, you know, if we don't have an agenda to come forward within the 48
Well,
hours.
we've talked with other communities that have gone through this. And, two of the ones that I spoke with are very gung-ho and happy.
Yep.
And having great success. One of the communities I spoke with found the formation great, but they went out and hired an independent firm to come in and run it. Right. You know, so there's a lot of opportunity here. And
Well, these two have really delved into the Watsika one. I haven't. I have it. They got printed copies of it, but I need to study it.
Used other resources. And in our involvement with Adam Dance of the Greater Livingston County Economic Group, he's got his availability of assets that we think we can use to expedite what's happening in the committee.
And we can still use the advisory group that we had initially.
Absolutely.
Right, and we'll have to get a lot more people
Yeah.
besides those individuals too, so.
Experienced people.
Misty has an economic development committee that just happens to be probably hitting on about 4 topics were
Yeah,
specific to this today.
Okay.
And you've got a group of people there that are already meeting regularly, that would be some great volunteers that we could, where are they at, what are they doing?
as far as getting a meeting together, forming the committee is not a problem. We can take care of that. Do you have a date?
Nope, we haven't, we haven't really, once I send this back to Amy, then she'll probably give us an idea of when they want to start planning the initial meeting of, but more than likely, our
Committee?
special committee will need to meet before that. But we haven't talked about any dates or anything
Yeah,
yet.
the only thing we were talking about is, can we have like a committee week? Maybe the other committees could do that. We've looked at some other, looking at Normal, a couple other places. It's like, then it gets published out, so people on those committees would know, hey, it's the first week of each month. If your committee has nothing, you don't have to meet.
Yeah.
But it would be published, people put it on their calendars. And for this particular, I mean, going through the Wasika, 124 pages. I mean, I spent 3 different days, sat down with Mike, we tried to, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have 3-4 eyes on it versus just, so if we can have a committee meeting, we can go through that.
Were
and
you on
talk
the bicycle when you were doing that?
Yes, yeah.
Try to get, I've been encouraging him to get on a bicycle.
Yeah, we had to ride bikes and have the
Okay.
meeting. But yeah, so I think, I'd like to say, if we can meet a little more often, if it's once a month and we know when it's gonna be, keeps us in speed, keeps us up to date, we're talking. It's hard to talk. It's hard to get everybody together when you can only, it's
Yeah.
sporadic. So I think that would help us resource people, and
Well,
then
we
we could call in Greg, we could call in people that we would need to talk to, and it's a little less formal and,
We'll get together with the calendar and then come back with optional dates, and as long as the 3 of you are great with the idea, that's where we'll start from.
Yeah, and I mean, well, I think kind of what Scott is, I mean, and not just this committee, I mean, I called Alan last week because the 3 of us were gonna get together, and I was like, we can't do this, you guys. We can't. And so we ended up, Scott and I met, and then those 2 met. And, so many of the projects we have going on in the city, we talk about in our committee of the whole, or, I mean, we're not necessarily just referring to housing, but we talk about things, and then it seems like nothing ever happens because we don't get back together to talk about them anymore. And we may get an update in our things, but if we don't, I mean, I think regular committee meetings of the other things would be beneficial to all of us. We might be able to get balls rolling a little bit more if we were assigned pieces of the puzzle. And I know doesn't everybody have time, and we may have no agenda, and then we just don't meet. But if we don't plan, we don't,
Okay.
so.
Well, we will put a time frame together and get back together with you individually and set it up. And then, is there any time frame in particular you're looking at?
Well, from this standpoint, I would imagine Amy's going to want us to meet, she might say, within a couple weeks. But once I send this back to her, that's when we'll have, but, I mean, the 3 of us probably.
Yeah, we'll figure out
within a
something.
couple weeks, yeah,
Okay, so within the next 10 days or so.
probably.
Okay. Anything else?
Is this an ad hoc committee or is this a permanent?
I think it will become permanent to the extent of the program with Illinois Housing. Once we sign off with that, then we'll have to look at it as fitting into one of our other committees.
See, the Illinois housing package that we're looking at can take as much as 18 months to 2 years. So what we're trying to do, because we've kind of met in individual pieces here and there, it's awkward and it's slowed down this process. So if we can have a group that's dedicated to that, yet, you know, intersects with the infrastructure group and the other committees, it just makes sense to move it on.
Similar to the housing, the zoning board. That's basically what we're gonna end up with. So, all right. I think we're all in agreement. We'll work on this and
Great.
work back through with you.
I'll get back to Amy tomorrow.
We need to move on a little bit. Invoice from Cloud Online Payments.
Yeah, so this is a project that we've been working on for the last year, trying to address methods of citizens paying their utility bills, and by methods other than by phone and in person or mail, by using online resources. And what we found is, while there are a number of companies, there are not a number of companies that work well with the software that we have. And
course not.
so what we found, the majority of them really just want to offer like, you go to their website and it makes these payments, and then they send you an Excel spreadsheet that you upload then back to your software. The downside with that program is the timing, and when, you know, we would have to physically go in and remember to put in all those spreadsheets. So we then found Invoice Cloud, which is another it's another one of the preferred, what Locust calls their preferred customers. And when I was speaking with them, they are different in that they directly integrate with Locust. So when you make an online payment with Invoice Cloud, it automatically updates our system. And so in addition to that, you can make an online payment, and their system then, once you've made a payment, their system uses machine learning to remember that if you get on their website and you put in your name, it can remember your payment information. It can remember what it is you're paying. So it'll bring up your account. They have a number of options. They have online, where you go to like their Invoice Cloud website, which will look like us because it will have our logo in, and it'll have your utility bills. You can also, there's what they call an AVR, which is an automatic voice response, where you can call. And so we would have a number here that if somebody wanted to pay by phone, they call the specific number, or we transfer them to that number, and it'll voice prompt them basically. That would say, what's your name or what's your account? And then it will then direct you and tell you what your balance is, and then you can make payments that way. You can make a payment by text or by email. So it has a number of nice options that are available. Invoice Cloud also, the other reason why we're seriously looking at this as an option, is they integrate with other software, to where if we wanted to expand to online payments for, let's say, an exercise class at the rec center, we can do that as well. So in talking with the other vendors, they all have basically a credit card fee like we currently do now. And so that's the choice of each, entity. Currently, just so you know, when somebody pays a utility bill by credit card, the city pays all those credit card fees. We don't pass them on to the customer. And so that can be continue the same, or that can be changed. We currently just really we'll take a credit card over the phone, we'll take them in person, and we pay per transaction fee of close to 4%, and then we also pay a credit card fee, and that typically ranges $3,000 a month for utility bills. And that covers, like, if you come in to pay your sewer bill, by credit card, if you pay a building permit by credit card, all of that, any credit card transaction. So not a lot is different with Invoice Cloud. In talking to them, they initially were around that same amount, and I said, we have some bills that are in $35 sewer bills, and $4 for a credit card fee is a lot. And so they agreed to change that fee to 2.95% with a well, I might be wrong. Minimum transaction fee of $2.95 with a 3% fee. That's for a credit card, debit card, or with PayPal. And actually, it's not just PayPal. They also accept Apple Pay, Google Pay, all those other types of things. They also you can set up an automatic clearinghouse payment, so a recurring automatic payment for your utility bills. The other thing that I thought was interesting is they also offer so for example, there are some people that will have the bank pay their bills for them, and so we get checks from the bank for like somebody's sewer bill, right? And so they have a service that they'll intercept those to where they don't have to get mailed. When the bank puts in the amount for that sewer bill, it'll pick that up and it'll make that payment directly. So the interesting thing with that one is we have some customers that have multiple accounts. They have multiple houses, that kind of stuff. And on some of them, they may not have the right account number, but the ladies up the front just know if it's person X that he's making that payment. And so we talked about that because that was one of their concerns, is what do we do in those circumstances? If this thing's going to automatically pick it up, what do you do? And the answer was, this is not uncommon. It happens in every community that takes these payments. And so it would pick it up and the machine would say, well, that account, this isn't right. And then so it sends an alert to us and it says, we think this could be one of these 4 accounts. And you pick it, and once you pick it, even if they never change the account to the right number, it says, no, you picked that, that's the right one now, and it'll associate it with it. So in our estimation, Invoice Cloud, if we want to go to an online bill paying process, offered the most for basically the same amount. What really made my interest peak on this is, we just had a postage rate increase. Invoice Cloud also offers paperless billing. So you can sign up for that. If you text your payment in, or if you do it by email, or if you do it by phone, all those different options, you can then opt into paperless billing, which then what we've decided we have to talk through, though, is then also getting an opt-in for like our newsletter. So their page is customizable. If you do it through their page, we could also have a check mark. Do you want to receive our sewer newsletter by email? And you can get it that way as well. So, but there's savings there from postage. There's going to be savings from late payments. Their data shows that within 1 year, that we might see a reduction 25 to 40% in late payments. Now, we don't actually charge a late fee, but we do have people that forget to pay and then just don't pay. And so this would be set up, once you've made that payment, that to not forget, it will send you 3 reminders like, hey, don't forget your payment's due. It's now 1 week out, your payment's due tomorrow. And so it'll give you reminders to make sure that you make your payment. So it had a lot of nice features. Its fee for us is $195 a month. There is still the bad check fee of $10 and a reject ACH fee of $10. Those are all things we get charged now anyway. Chargeback fees from PayPal, those are $10. So consider that's not, you're not getting a credit card chargeback fee and a PayPal chargeback fee. It's going to be one or the other. And then on that third page is also the other fees that we would pay, which would be the 3%. Well, the 3% I would suggest that gets passed along to the customer for the service. The 3% credit card payment or the $2.95 minimum. So that would be the lowest, and then 3%.
So the ACH fee that's on there, so like I have automatic payment on mine, so the city's got to pay $2.95 for every ACH
That's
payment that
correct.
it's signed up for?
For every for every ACH for a utility billing here or payment here, yes, that would be their fee.
So we have to pay that, wow.
The city
Oh.
currently eats that,
Seems like
right?
a lot.
You're saying the city?
Yeah,
So right now, we don't pay ACH fees unless they're within that credit card fee, but they're not. So this would be a new, the ACH fee would be for them in that, you're either paying by ACH or credit card, so that would be something that we would pass along.
Will they charge you, because I'm the one that sends a check to the bank.
So.
They charge you on that now that it wasn't before?
So if we don't have to do the bank intercept thing,
I don't want to pay a charge for that.
so there would be a fee for that. It's on here. It's like 20 cents for each check that they intercept. And like I said, we don't have to do that one, but there would be no change. If you came here to make a credit card payment, you can still do that. There would be a credit card fee that the customer would have. But if you mailed in a check, that wouldn't be any different. We would still process that. There's no fees for that. Let me find it real quick.
I guess I have everything auto-paid, and
Yep.
I don't pay any fees for any of it.
I used to auto pay Dad, just came out of the county, the city set up, and I pay mine manually through web bill pay. And I'm one that they get a check on because they're not set up to get.
Right.
So that works really well. I know there's no extra charges for that. I don't really want to have so many checks.
And that would be the
No.
only thing that concerned me is that I don't want to pay
I won't pay fees.
So how that gets assessed is, otherwise, I think the whole thing sounds
Somebody
great.
chooses to pay by charge card or chooses to. have to
Right, they should have to
scan
pay
it.
those fees, yeah,
Right, but if you're
Can't let
actually
somebody
using your,
backdoor into a convenience.
right.
but if you're actually using your bank account and your check numbers, or, your account numbers and the routing numbers, there shouldn't be a fee, correct?
Well, they're gonna intercept it and take it directly instead of a check now.
Correct. Right.
But if you already have, I have
Yeah, which we don't
ACH,
have
no
to do.
check.
Like I said,
but-
we can allow them just to
Seems to
send.
make sense, you shouldn't wanna handle the checks.
Right.
You could avoid it.
Yep.
'Cause I know yours, the check, ComEd and all the big ones, just get it that way now. There's no charges for it.
Right.
Otherwise, I think it sounds awesome. I would just question that,
Yeah.
that particular fee,
Okay.
but
I think
I would motion to do it
Extra
if
fees.
we need a motion.
Question.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
I take it we need a motion to,
And we can exclude that at this point and then gain some more information for you. And then if we want to add that back in, that's fine.
okay,
Yeah, I made a motion that we proceed with,
okay.
I'll
Excluding
second
the fee program
yeah.
at this point.
Yes, yeah, charging the customer the fee for the $3, or the
Yes.
3%.
Absolutely.
Okay. Motion by Kelly, seconded by Scott. Roll call, please.
Eckhoff.
Yes,
Sorry. Causer.
Yes.
Bradshaw. Oops, sorry. Cranford.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Giovannini.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
do we really pay $3,000 a month in credit card fees now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Amount you collect, 3%, it adds really
Yeah,
fast.
it does.
Moving on,
It's 4%.
Yeah.
we need to give
Oh, I know.
Jim a right to breathe too, like
What's your
Misty.
rate?
First quarter financials.
Okay. So I won't be long on this one.
That's what you said on the last one.
I didn't say that, Missy said hers. So I just made some notes for you. I have the first quarter financials here for you to look at. I'm still working through a couple of things with Lauderback to make it come out a little more readable. That you might encounter in admin, and you don't have to flip through all these right now, but if you wish to, admin, we did have our maintenance, our repairs were a little high. We had a server repair issue here. And then you'll see that there's a larger amount, dues and fees it's on there, but it was budgeted as contract maintenance, and that was our zoning software that we put in. So you'll see that that 14,000, no, I'm sorry. Dues and fees has 38,221 year to date. It's actually, in the budget, it's up in the 50,000 contract maintenance, so that's where it was actually coming from. In the streets department, there's also a dues and fees there that it should be in miscellaneous. I think he got off, when he was putting these in, he got off a line. And so, but you'll also notice in streets, there were some big vehicle repairs we had so far this year, so there were some expenses there. And then in parks, once again, the dues and fees amount, it should be their repairs. It shows dues and fees is $60,000, and that's actually the budget for repairs, not dues and fees. The ambulance revenue, it's gonna look low right now, and that is because Andres was bought out, and so they kind of fell behind. You will see next quarter a large catch-up, that in August we got a pretty substantial amount from them. And then the 60,000 numbers back. In community enrichment, it shows $60,000 in donation. That's an error. There's only one $60,000 in the budget in community enrichment, and that was for the 3% cannabis local tax. And then in the sewer department, it shows sewer hookups is $12,000. That was the budget for sewer interest. So again, he got off one line on that one. And then in the transfers, that covers, Lauderback put all the money in the transfers. That covers the amounts in the capital improvement as well as the debt retirement. Because those transfers went to sewer construction fund, and then they went to the debt service fund. So those two together. Otherwise, if you look at the percentages, we're pretty close to right on about 25% in everything. We're a little high in street lighting right now, and that is because of the traffic crash that was at Route 23. It took out that box, pretty expensive, and the insurances, by the time they were done, didn't cover the full cost. So,
Of course. Do they
but
ever,
should you have any questions about any of the other points on there?
Again, this is more informational and take time to review everything. You can always bring questions.
Yep.
Up to.
Golf course
City
looks
Hall.
nice. Golf course looks,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
golf
it does.
course, again, the golf
Yeah.
course has done well, so it's looking like it's on its way to not needing the subsidy.
nice.
that'd be good.
Okay.
Where are we gonna put those?
But we do need to move on. We do have executive session and different things coming up. So let's move to Parks Tree Grant. I believe
He's on his way up.
Gary is going to make his way to the stand.
Evening, everyone.
Hi, Gary.
Should have in your packet a letter that was created for a University of Illinois Extension Forestry grant from the U.S. Forest Service and Morton Arboretum to support urban forestry development for disadvantaged areas in Illinois, to provide cost-free plantings and care covering tree installations in communities statewide. They are selecting 15 communities, and ours has been included in that. Each community would receive 10 to 15 minimum trees, with upwards of, in that letter it says 50, depending upon how many communities get on and what size of grant they get. Plantings would occur between May 2025 and May 2028. We have designated the Recplex as our site to receive those tree plantings. I've talked with Chris at Streets, and he agreed that the size of tree we're getting, we won't know the variety, we won't know the type, but the Recplex needs some more canopy and more coverage out there, and that would be a good spot for that. All we would need to do to be included in that grant would be to approve sending a letter of support with the mayor's signature to them before August 30th, which shouldn't be a problem. So,
Do you have a site map for it too, where you're going to do the planting, or?
we haven't yet. I've got to get with Chris and find out. I know we've had a couple of trees go down, and we want to look at strategically where we provide some canopy shade for our spectators out there, as well as have it not in field of play and those type of things, and traffic and stuff.
Because they need a windbreak of sorts by the dog park out there,
Yeah, that'd be
maybe.
nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's an area that definitely needs to shade and things as well.
This is in addition to regular tree programs.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Work
Right.
through.
Do we still have a kite program out there, or do we still have a kite program out there every year, or not?
The what
We used to have the
program?
kites.
The Kite Festival?
Oh,
Yeah, they're
no,
doing
it
that,
hasn't.
September 21st.
September, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I seen it somewhere, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Okay. Yeah, that would, I mean, we don't avoid the.
Oh, man.
You're going to be high flying again, Jerry. So,
So you need a motion
yes,
to
we do.
accept the letter of submission?
Yes.
I would make motion.
I'll second.
motion by Kelly, seconded by Scott. Roll call, please.
Causer,
Thanks, Jerry.
Yes.
Gary?
Cranford,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
We are all in favor of trees, that's for sure.
Jerry.
Okay, moving on. Police grant data pilot. Chief Davis is here to lead us the way.
Good evening, council. Packet, the title is Digital Forensics, which I could have crammed about 10 pages into, but I really had to summarize it to at least push the idea forward. Basically, the police department, we've hit the threshold of where having an ability locally to do basically cell phone dumps and computer uploads during criminal investigations has transitioned from wants to need. We've discussed it on and off for the past few years. It's an expensive process like anything. The timeliness of this grant, I just recently was introduced to a grant from a private company called Data Pilot Incorporated. It's a match grant, and they provide not only software for our investigators to be able to do full search warrant, uploads of any cell phone, smartwatch, laptop, and in a day and age where everyone, over the age of 10 pretty much has their own cell phone. It's just more prevalent that cell phones are involved in some way, shape, or form of pretty much every investigation. This grant, though, it provided the desktop version as well as a field version where you can basically, if someone calls you to your house, you can upload, text message conversations or videos or pictures, anything that's pertinent to whatever they're there for. So with these two items, the grand total cost was $13,780. However, our share of this grant would be $6,975. That includes a 2-year license, and then it would be a $24.95 annual license fee should we choose to continue with the program. I applied for the grant and was tentatively given approval, obviously with the council would go forward. And then the zinger, I guess, of this whole package is that any money spent towards it eligible to use C's funds, so it's not a tax dollar item.
No brainer.
So, with your, unless there's, do we have any questions, I guess, first of all? Again, kind of summarize the whole forensics download.
We have a motion?
I make, second.
Motion by John Willie, seconded by Jerry Krauser to proceed. Roll call, please.
Cranford,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovannini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Causer.
Yes.
Super. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, TIF 4 consulting proposal.
So, this proposal, I've had some conversations with Even Glow. There has been at least a couple inquiries into the purchase of the Even Glow property for use for housing, and which got Adam and I talking about what. Because eventually they're going to come, if that happens, they're going to come to us for assistance. And so we got to talking about what we could do. And in looking at that area, Even Glow, you should have on the last page of this, there should be, yes, there should be this map. This would be the area that we're talking about. Downtown, Even Glow, the lodge, the nursing home, the properties, the block to the east of them, which contains the Jones House, and then also that there's a lot directly across from the library. All that property, with the exception of the Jones House, is owned by Even Glow, and if we can create a TIF district there, by the end of the year, that all that property right now is tax exempt, and so when that goes on the rolls, any of that tax money then would become increment. And so that would provide us not just this opportunity that's looking at us right now, but if that falls apart, anything in the future, we would have the opportunity then to provide some assistance and really revitalize and help with the housing topic that we've been discussing. So in doing so, I've had some conversations with our TIF consultant, PGAV. We talked about everything from maybe extending the borders of the current TIF to creating a new TIF, and it just seems like the better plan would be a specific TIF built for this area. One, our current TIF has 10 years left, and a new TIF would have the 23. So they gave me a timeline to have this happen within the end of the year, that it's possible it can happen. And for that to happen, they gave us this proposal to go ahead and do the notices, do all of the analysis. And we've kind of already looked at the analysis of some of the conditions that are there. It is a property. I've met with the CEO of Even Glow. I've met with all of our taxing bodies. We haven't had any opposition to the creation of it. And so it is basically an obsolescence. It was created for a purpose that they can no longer use it for due to a number of things. There's some conditions there, some code changes that affect their the business that they're in. And so in speaking with PGAV, we came up with this proposal. They're proposing to help us get this TIF started, and there is a cost on here, and I gotta find it. Unless you find it before me.
$24,500.
That's the one. Yep. Yes. So I just think it's, oh yeah, here it is. It's in section 4, item A. The compensation for the services is $24,500.
Reimbursement.
It's an opportunity, I think, that we would regret if we missed out creating this TIF while it's tax exempt. So I'm asking you for your permission to enter into this proposal with PGAV.
So where did PGAV come from?
So PGAV has been our TIF consultant from
Okay.
the beginning. Yeah, they're like a Farnsworth, like a Chamlin,
Right.
yeah, so they do, but they have some specialties in TIF specifically, and so they're who we've regularly worked with. They've created our TIF districts and additions that we've made.
Okay.
So they have all of our information, really already.
And the project itself is, it's gonna need a district
No,
of
definitely.
financing to bring it to fruition, so.
They're the same ones that we entered earlier this year into a per event, $10,000 per total contract when we were looking at the property on South Mill Street, as well as potentially looking at a Riverwalk and some of the other TIF items that came up earlier in the year. So and they
This
helped us
works.
close TIF 3.
This works right into what we're
It's,
working on.
I mean, the
So
timing couldn't have been better.
Right, exactly.
so much synergy, and everything we've been talking about, that's another one of those
Yep. Another
things that
tool.
just fits.
Another phase
Great
Yeah.
piece of,
plan.
Yeah.
So,
skyrocket your efforts.
So I'll motion that we enter into this agreement with
And I'll
PGAV.
second.
okay. Motion by Kelly, seconded by Mike Barr, that we enter into the TIF consulting proposal. Roll call, please.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes,
Barr,
Yes,
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes,
Causer,
Yes,
Cranford.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did we miss anybody? Good thing. Okay.
seems like
doesn't.
That concludes the regular agenda. I've made my comments off and on, so I'm going to skip any more. And city council comments. Anything else from the council? We had it.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
Hearing none. City administrator.
Just the last week has been a really good week getting ready for fall. So again, I thank the staff, and I definitely thank Misty for the work that she's done in bringing the group here. So I appreciate all the work that you guys are doing to help this community grow. So.
Okay.
Oh, one last thing, I'm sorry. We do have a need for a committee of the whole.
Yes. Yeah, definitely we do that.
Yes.
Okay. One other thing I guess we should mention is, Liz, don't we have a concert?
We do. We have a concert coming this Thursday. Love Sign, they are a rockabilly type band. Pretty excited to have them.
Okay. Concerts are fun. I've been to a lot of them. They're enjoyable. Weather permitting, it'll be a fun night. Okay. Public comments. Deb, anything? Okay. As I say, we do have need for executive session. So
Are we
need
going
a
to set
motion.
that committee meeting? With
Pardon
the
me?
committee, the commit, well, I didn't know if we were setting that committee of the whole meeting
Oh.
now, that Jim said.
You want to do that now?
Sure. Next Tuesday or Wednesday, 5:30.
Wednesday would be okay
Okay.
with me.
28th.
what,
Said 5:30.
Yes.
5:30.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
Works for me.
Yep, too.
I'm good.
Okay.
I think I'm all right too.
5:30?
Yes.
That would also be a good time to possibly get the groundwork in on the special committee formation, so, all right. No public comments. We need a motion to adjourn to executive session. Motion by Scott, seconded by Frank Giovanini. Roll call, please.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Causer,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll be in executive session in a couple minutes.
Really?
Right.
I think there was one in here.
You got one?
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's there.